Okay, so we are going to be determining the area of any triangle. So first of all, the area of a triangle is determined by finding what the base and height is. And so we declare one spot the base and one spot the height. And so this is going to be height, that's going to be represented by the letter H, and this is going to be the base, which is represented by B. And so the area of a triangle, to figure it out, the formula is 1/2 base times height. Well, what is area to begin with? Area is the number of 1x1 squares that fit into a shape with no overlap and none of them hanging over the edge, but you can use a fraction of the square. And so this is kind of what it looks like. If I had my shape up here, it'd be the number of these types of squares, the 1x1 squares, that could fit into the shape. So let's start with the simpler shape. So the area of a rectangle is base times height. And that is because we have B columns, each with H 1x1 squares. And so it's B times H 1x1 squares, which would be area equals base times height. So in this example, we would say that there are three 1x1 squares in the base and 1, 2, 3 in the height. And so we would say that it would be base 3, and we would multiply it by the height H, and that would be 3. So the total would be 9. So our area for this shape would be 9 because we multiply them. Okay. So for triangles, there are 3 kinds that will apply for all triangles, depending on where the vertex is. So for all these examples, we have a base, and that's what's going to be the same for all of them. So it's just going to be the height that will change. So the different vertexes will be, let's declare our bases first. So these are going to be my bases. And for this one, the vertex is going to be on the side. So this is going to be the height. This one, the vertex will be in the middle. And for this one, it is going to be off to the side, just like that. So now, this would be my height, this would be my height, and this would be my height. And then this from here to here will be X, but we'll get to that a little bit later. So for having the height on the side, and then this is my base, so let's try this out. So this is my height. So what we're going to do is we're going to copy this triangle and we're going to put it on the other side. So just like that, and our little right triangle in there. So we just took this triangle and we flipped it and copied it up here, and that now made a rectangle, or a square in this case, but a rectangle. And we determined that for a rectangle the area is base times height. Well, our triangle, to determine the height, is going to be 1/2 base times height, because there are 2 triangles in this rectangle, 1, 2, but we only need one of them. And so we're going to take 1/2 of the full rectangle. So 1/2 base times height will give us this triangle, which was our original triangle. Okay, so now if the vertex is in the middle of the triangle, it's going to look like this. And this is going to be the base, and this is going to be the height. And so we cut the triangle in half, and now we have 2 right triangles. So now we're going to take one of them and put it up here in the red marking, and this is going to be the other right angle. We're going to do the same for the other side. So we're going to take this side and flip it right here. So we're going to take, so it's going to look like this if everything matches up. And then this is our other right triangle. So now we've made ourselves a rectangle, if you can see just like that, with our base and our height. And so we have the original triangle, which is in the black, and we broke it into two halves, which is in the red, and we put each half on either side of the black triangle. And so we have one regular triangle, so let's write this down. We have one regular triangle, and we cut it in half, so we have two halves. So we have two halves, and then that equals one whole triangle. And so two triangles make up one rectangle, so that's what we figured out. So these two halves make up one, and then the black makes up one, and that makes up the rectangle. And so we learned before that a rectangle, the area is base times height. And so the area of the triangle would be 1/2 base times height. So our last one is a little bit trickier. There's a little bit more math that goes into this one. So as I said before, we're going to take and we're going to make an all new vertex over here. So this is going to be our height, and then as I said before, this little red line is going to be our x, and then this from here to here is going to be our base. And then totaling this whole bottom half of this bigger triangle is going to be x plus b, which makes sense because it would be this plus this equals this big base on the bottom. Okay, so to figure it out, we're going to have to do what this big triangle minus this new little triangle that we made to determine the area of the triangle. And so we do 1/2 x plus b times h minus 1/2 xh, which would be this one. Okay, and so in order to get that, we are going to do 1/2, and we are going to distribute it to the x, the b, to the h. So we get 1/2 xh plus 1/2 bh minus 1/2 xh, which is just what we still had over here, and then we brought it back down. Okay, so now we are going to, since this is minus 1/2 xh and this would be a positive 1/2 xh, we get to cross those out because they cancel out each other. And so all we have left is 1/2 base times height, which would equal our area, which would be the area of this triangle. So now that proves that we can solve any triangle and figure out what the area of it would be. Thank you.